Welcome. We are so glad that you have decided to partner with us to educate your child. And many of you are watching this on site, and also many of you are watching this remotely. We're in an unusual season right now, and we're so thankful for your patience as we navigate these waters together. I wanted to just share a few key thoughts with you as you're joining your orientation for your child. Those of you that are joining us from last year and years prior, welcome back. We're so excited to see you and be with you. And pretty soon we'll be able to be without the virtual high fives and the virtual hugs, and we'll be able to really do those things in the physical realm. So, those of you that are new to our school, welcome. We look forward to meeting you and spending time getting to know you. Wanted to share with you, we are going to be having some different experiences over the next few weeks. Originally, when we put out our invite to find out what you were going to do, whether it would be online or in the classroom on site, we were thinking after Labor Day we would be able to join together and have everyone back. But due to the numbers and some of the recommendations that we're seeing from the CDC, our accrediting body, and just wanting to be wise, we're going to offer the remote learning experience through October 1st and not come back all together after Labor Day. This is for two reasons. One, we want to make sure that we're safe and secure. We also need to get some of the equipment that we've ordered through a gracious grant that we were given. The equipment's not here. We think it should be here mid-September. So to have everybody back on campus without that key equipment, the face shields, the barriers between the classrooms, the extra hand washing stations, and the additional hand sanitization stations around campus, it would just be unwise for us to come back in a couple weeks without that stuff being here. The second reason is, as we've seen with this pandemic and COVID and how it operates, we may see some spikes again. I'm not a medical professional. However, I have been watching statistics, and as people start gathering together again, we may see an increase. Schools in the area are not all fully operational at this point. You may have seen some schools have come back and they've had a few numbers. We're going to do everything that we can to keep you guys safe. However, we will look to reopen fully with everybody on campus October 1st. You may say, Dr. Clark, I don't think that I want my child to come back in October. At that time, we can make that decision. And if you feel that you need more time, you need to do remote learning, maybe the first full semester, that's okay. We'll accommodate that. We understand that many of you have varying situations in your home. Some of you may have autoimmune issues your child may have. You may have someone that is having surgery and they really can't afford the immune compromising that might be happening there. So right now, those of you who have chosen remote learning, you'll be remotely learning through October 1st. At that point, if you felt like you needed more time, we'll certainly have that conversation. Those of you that chose on-site learning, your children will be placed in cohorts, and I think your teachers will be explaining that more to you. But the cohorts are a small group of students that they'll be working together with two teachers. Instead of us doing specials and having people roaming around campus and touching and having multiple points of contact, we've elected to work in a suggestion that we've seen in other schools that have started before us, and not in the state of Florida, but our accrediting body shared with us some key information that cohorts seem to be a very safe way to organize our students, where the specialist teachers are actually partnering with a classroom teacher. Specialist teachers can even come in on a Zoom call, but we're not transitioning for specials, and we're not having specialists jump into every classroom because they could have some cross-pollination, I like to call it, versus contamination. So we'll share more information on the cohorts, but your students that are on site will be in small groups of hopefully 10 to 12 or less. We want it to be less than 12. The other thing I wanted to mention to you is lunch will be served. Please make sure you fill out those papers. Lisa Lindo will be sending out some information on our lunch program. Please watch for that. You will need to remember that anything that you're sending to your child, make sure that it is not needing to be microwaved. We're not going to have microwaves available. The contamination factor is a little high with that. So please make sure your child can open and eat something that's not needing to be heated up. We will be offering breakfast in the morning when your child arrives to school, but it will be grab and go. We will also be offering lunch in a similar fashion, grab and go. Some students will eat in the cafeteria, some will eat in their classroom, some will eat outside. We'll make sure that everyone is comfortable. They'll be rotating through so no one feels like, I didn't get a chance to go in the cafeteria, or I needed to eat outside. So we're going to have a nice system where we have some social distancing going on, and students will be rotating through spaces to make better sense of that. When your students arrive on campus, we're going to ask them to stay in the car until they've been checked with the temperature. We'll be checking wrists and heads, but mostly wrists. We've gotten some feedback that wrists are a good place to check. And so you'll stay in the car, and this is for your protection and theirs. We don't necessarily need people to know what your temperature, the child's temperature is. It's no one's business but your own. And we're going to be working with, as many cars as we can, at least 8 to 10 at a time to get things moving. You won't be parking and coming inside like we've done in the past. We'll have some opportunities when we reopen fully to have our wows and our bouncy houses and our picture day and our pictures of first day of school. We're thinking about having some creative ways to put some around the parking lot, some photo ops for you with some back to school signs so that you can do that. But we're asking all parents to stay in your cars, drop off your students. You won't be walking them into class. That will be for another time. And we'll be asking you, please go back to your car and get in the car line. So be prepared for that. The other thing is for dismissal. We're also asking you to pull in the car line for dismissal. We have a system for that. The first couple of days, we're going to need some grace. It may take a little bit of time, but we will get the system worked out very carefully and quickly. But we do want to remind you to stay in your cars for both arrival and dismissal. If you should need to pick your child up during the day, please give us a call so that we know in advance and we can have your child waiting for you. So therefore, you're not needing to have as much contact on campus. You can come in, sign them out, and go, and we're not waiting for them to come downstairs. What I do want to remind you is students will need to be wearing masks as they enter. Once we get in the classroom and they're socially distanced, they won't need a mask. That's why we're doing the cohorts and small groups at a time. That's why we needed you to tell us if you were doing remote learning or home learning. If you chose remote learning, and in a couple weeks you say, "Oh, he really wants to come to school and be with his friends. He misses everyone," you will need to keep your child home until October 1st because we will be working through getting our cohorts established. And once we've established them, we're not doing back and forth. We're not having students who were home coming in. Now, if you choose because of a health concern or you feel like something happened and changed in your family or someone now has something compromising their health and you want your child to come home and take remote learning for a period of time, we will allow the remote. We will allow the on-site to remote. But it's very hard for us to allow the remote to now be on campus, and we hope you understand that. The other thing I wanted to share with you is some parents were wondering about after school care. Right now, it's very impossible for us to have after school care and keep the safety of contact tracing where it needs to be. After care, many kids are grouped. So in order for us to have aftercare, we would literally need to have the students stay with their cohort all day, and that's going to be impossible. So for the first few weeks until October 1st, we will be without aftercare. We hope to resume aftercare as soon as possible. If something changes between now and October 1st where we feel like we can now offer aftercare, we will let you know, but we are planning to open aftercare after around October 1st. As always, anything that you need to find out is on our website. If you go to excelonline.org, a little pop-up will come up that says back to school information. You click that. There's the Q&A there. We're updating that all the time. There are some important links for you. The videos that you have seen with your class and the information that your teacher has shared will be put on their social media page and also linked to your Google Classroom so that you can see this in all videos. Any videos that I've done, any videos that your teachers have done, or anything that specialists or other people have put out there in the future will be on that Google Classroom page. We plan to have some Zoom calls to check in with you per grade levels. We plan to also have some training that will be put on the various locations for you to access if you're needing to know, well, how do I use my Schoolworks? How do I use Google Classroom? Those things will be ready for you. I want to thank you guys for everything that you've done. I thank you for trusting us with your child. And you know what? We will get through this together. If you need anything, please feel welcome to call our office or email myself or Miss Bundy. My email is jclark@excelonline.org. And Miss Bundy's is mbundy@excelonline.org. Thank you so much. We hope you have a very awesome week.